Hi, my name is Jeannie, and this is Bisaya in America. So I bought myself a new microphone. I should have bought this Yeti Blue 2 years ago, but for some reason I tried something else and I kind of regret it. The other microphone that I got, it was decent, but according to the reviews, it was supposed to be good. But come to think of it, I think the YouTuber was influenced by freebies or whatever, so it wasn't an honest review for sure. So anyway, I'm back to using a blue. I have a Yeti, so I did have a blue before. It was really great. I used it for so many of my early videos, and unfortunately it just died for some reason. But I had it for maybe 5 years, like definitely close to 5 years, and it did serve its purpose. But now I have this Yeti Blue, which is really fancy. It's heavy, and I heard it has four like microphones or whatever. I don't know, I'm not very technical. Anyway, for this episode I will be talking about the roads in America. I think I've had so many topics where I have talked about the roads in America. It's just like it's very confusing, and if you are new to America, you will find this out the hard way. And anyway, I've been here for less than a decade, and it still confounds me. Every part that you go to in America, they have different rules. So anyway, it's just like the road engineers are just maybe having a field day. They just wanted to make our lives a little hard. So there's roads here. So I moved to Texas 2 years ago. There's literally roads here that don't make sense. They're like one way, and then they turn into two way, and then you can suddenly turn left, but then before that you can't really turn left. And then there's a road, you're on this road where literally it will turn into an exit. So when you stay on that road and you continue, sometimes that lane also disappears and or turns into an exit, and it's just really confusing and confounding to me why roads act like that. And it's just, seriously, man, it's so annoying. And anyway, I also found out that here in Houston area there's a lot of railways, so now I'm very careful because a couple weeks ago, so the barrier should go down, right? Even before the train is there. Like the train should be many yards before the barrier should be down before the train arrives, and the train should be many yards away. But this one, it started luckily I was like with another driver, so he was on the left side. He was closer to the train than I was, and I was on the right side, further away from the train. But then it was no good. I think the train was just maybe less than 500 feet, and then the barrier started coming down while we were crossing the railway, like the railroad or whatever you call that. We were on there, and then as soon as it started dropping, we just, like, both of us, we were just in shock because we saw the train started to come, and we just like made a mad dash out of it. Like, it was like crazy. Like, dude, you should put the barrier down, and then you should be yards away from any vehicles. But apparently there's no rules here, so I don't know. So now I literally turn left and right before I cross, because you never know, right? And it's just crazy that can happen. And also I noticed that people, like, when they like drive through a railroad, they actually, I don't know what to call it, like the rails and stuff. When they drive through the rails, they just zip past it, like they don't even care about their shocks or their like car. But me, I'm very careful because you don't want to damage your shocks and stuff. I mean, with the cost of everything nowadays. But people just like zip past, like they don't even care about their wheel alignment or their car or their shock absorbers. I'm like, dude, I don't even know about these things. I'm not supposed to know about these things. I just know how to drive a car. But I'm thinking that some mechanism is going to be broken if you do that all the time, especially through potholes. But now, because there's people tailgating me, and I have to zip past the potholes as well, because I noticed that if I slow down, they're really close behind me, which you shouldn't. I know. Those people are fools, and I don't know how they passed physics. Physics is the first law of physics is like there's always momentum. Like when you can't always stop right away. There's momentum, man. And if you're tailgating someone, you got to be careful because you can't always stop on time. But I don't know about people. It's just a mess. So I kid you not, I have driven all over. Like I did at one point work in the Bronx. I drove in the Bronx. It's crazy. But I kid you not, at least the people there, when you use your turn signal, at least they still respect it in New York. But here in Texas, as soon as you turn that, like your turn signal on, that's a time for them to start making a mad dash for it. They don't even slow down. Like they're just gonna zip past you, and I'm like, dude. So sometimes it's even not. I think it's even strategic not to use it anymore because they think that it's a signal for you to just zip past. So I don't know. It's crazy. And anyway, so there was this road I was on, and it was just so confounding because it's supposed to be like literally when you turn right, it's supposed to be an exit, but I don't know how to describe it. But basically, so when you cross over and there's a crossway, so usually the right side of like an exit you shouldn't be in there because it's like one way usually. I don't know how to describe it really, but anyway, usually it should be a one way, but there's this funny funky road whatever here in Houston where it turns into two way suddenly, and then I'm like, it doesn't make sense. It's like I thought that once you're on that lane and then vehicles are passing through that lane, it's supposed to be one way, but apparently it turns into two way just because it's just there to aggravate you, and it's literally crazy. And it's not just in Houston. I mean, I can complain, but New Jersey was kind of notorious for that as well. There was an exit in New Jersey. I think this was when you go to the airport, Newark. Anyway, so when you exit, and then basically there's like 5 or 6 lanes. So there's like 5 or 6 lanes, and for some reason it turns into 4, then it turns into 3, and then it turns into 2. I don't know, like maybe road engineers don't know mathematics, because it's like why does that make sense when you're making roads? It's like you should add more roads, not subtract. But for some reason there was this I forgot the name of that. I don't really memorize like roads and stuff. I just know the GPS says go straight, and I'll just go straight. Anyway, what happened was this road was supposed to be like 6 lanes, and so I'm driving really fast, and I'm like, yeah, it's just gonna go straight, and then I don't have anything to worry about, and before you know it, my lane is gone. My lane disappears, and it's like, what happened to my lane? Like it's like it shrank, and the 6 lanes just turns into 4 and 3 and then 2. And this is crazy, and I couldn't understand it. And also there was a part there where the exit is on the far right side, and you literally have to steer the vehicle through 4 or 6 lanes. I don't know how many lanes exactly, but it's more than 4. And then you're supposed to do that in 500 feet. So I don't know who made that type of road or exit, but you cannot like drive through 4 or 5 or 6 lanes in less than 500 feet when people are driving like 60 or 80 or something, right? So there's this road where you exit, and once you exit, there's another exit to the far right, and you just have to make a mad dash for it or something, or you just miss it and you have to turn around, which is crazy. So yeah, that's what I'm telling you. It's pretty crazy. And but New York City, for some reason, reminds me of home, especially Manhattan, because it's literally just a grid. The only thing that just meddles with my brain cells is the construction. There's just a lot of construction, and it's been there. I lived there for like 5 years, and the construction has been there for 5 years. And when I look at YouTube videos of the current situation in New York, there's still construction there, and there's still scaffolding, and I'm like, dude, when will the construction stop? But apparently that's America. There's always roads that are in construction, and it takes years and years and years. Maybe it never ends, it never stops, but bridges just take years and years to make. So back home in the Philippines, when that happens, people are gonna start to complain. They're just gonna say like, dude, you're wasting taxpayers' money. When is this bridge gonna be done and stuff? And you'll see protests, or maybe people complaining and writing or whatever, what they do. But you're supposed to complain about it. But here in America, it's like, that bridge has been in construction for 2 years, 3 years. Who cares, Maybe ever since they were babies, it was under construction, but no one seems to care because it's always under construction. And I'm like, dude, when will this bridge be done? Like, it's like unacceptable in other countries, but in America, it's just like, yeah, So I don't know. It's just funny, but not funny. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just that the driving here just drives me so crazy because the roads just don't make sense. And I remember when I was in New Jersey, and it's hard to drive there too, especially with the snow and stuff. But anyway, there's places there that are confusing too. And I remember I was driving through this overpass, and there was supposed to be 2 or 3 lanes. But what happened was my lane turned into a shoulder, and suddenly there was just 1 lane. And the cop caught me because they were like, "You were driving on the shoulder, ma'am." And I was like, I didn't know, because all I noticed was there was supposed to be 2 lanes. And it was dark, it was nighttime. And then all I noticed was that my lane got narrower. And then people were saying, the drivers were thinking I was insane because I was driving in a shoulder. To those that don't know what a shoulder is, it's that part of the right side of the road where you're not supposed to drive on. It's supposed to be where you stop for emergency reasons or whatever. But because this overpass had like 2 lanes and it turned into 1, so essentially I didn't know that it turned into 1 lane. My lane just magically disappeared and turned into a shoulder. And the cop caught me and then asked me "Oh, okay, do you know what a shoulder is?" And at that time I was like, maybe not. I was a new driver. And then I think because he saw that I looked confused, And maybe because, yeah, because doesn't make sense why the lanes would disappear and turn into a shoulder, right? So yeah, he let me go, and then I was so grateful because that was literally supposed to be my first ticket. But yeah, I've been really careful. I have only which sucks, I had no tickets for like maybe 5 years, and I got caught in Arizona because of a speed trap. Because I didn't know that it was at night too, be careful with night driving. It's supposed to be a 55, and then it's turned into 45, 35, and then a 25, and all in just like a matter of like meters or whatever, or several, maybe 1,000 feet or something. It wasn't enough. I mean, I'm one of those people, I don't brake abruptly, I just slow down, and I just slowed down. But you can't slow down from a 55 to a 45 that turns into 35 and then turns into 25. You have to like literally like hit your brakes. So the thing was, I already saw a cop had pulled over another guy, so I wasn't expecting a second cop car. So I was just slowing down, but I didn't brake, because it's like I hate braking abruptly. But apparently I got caught, and he wasn't so thrilled about it. But I think essentially it was a speed trap, because that's why, there was another person that got caught, and I didn't contest it, and I just paid, and I'm like, yeah. So, but he literally broke my first, like, he gave me my first ticket, and I think I only have another one, which was kind of dumb. I was just going like 5 miles over the speed limit, and I think it was because it was the end of the month, and also because it was nighttime, and I thought I was thinking, and it was also, I think, a holiday. I think it was Halloween or something. Anyway, I think it was Halloween, so everybody was out partying. I think he was thinking that I was drunk driving or whatever, but I was just speeding, like I was just 5 or 6 miles above the speed limit, which is not really a lot, considering like. And anyway, like, he didn't forgive me. He saw my dogs, and he didn't forgive me, and I'm like, so I had to hire like a lawyer, and then even the lawyer was saying, dude, like, he didn't let you go for going 5 miles over the speed limit, and this is so insane. So he contested it, or she, I mean, the lawyer contested it, and then I got scot free. So no tickets, no anything, but I just paid the lawyer. But essentially, because when the judge saw it, it was like, dude, like, just 5 miles over the speed limit. I mean, some people here speed like 100 on a 90. Oh, no, there's no 90 actually. So I'm pretty sure they speed like 80 or 90 or 100 on the freeway. So basically, I'm very careful. um I only speed up when I try to overtake someone, and I make sure that I'm like really miles not miles away, but meters away from the next one, because yeah. And but it doesn't happen a lot. It's only when I just really have to speed. um Anyway, so yeah, that's it. That's the situation in like America. It's very confusing roads, and nothing makes sense, and people like to define um you know people just like to, I don't know, they want to work against physics for some reason. Like, what about not sharing the same space at the same time? So matter cannot occupy the same space at the same time. But apparently, the road engineers thinks that that's supposed to be the way. Like, especially like um, when you converge on the road, like, so there's a merge lane. That's just insane to me. I mean, why would we share a lane with a car that's speeding, and you're just coming into the you're just coming into the freeway. That for me is insane. Why we would have to share a lane with someone that's speeding. I don't know. It's pretty stupid. And yeah, and especially like the yeah, and I see people here like in Texas, like they literally don't want to miss the exit. I've literally seen people back up. So in the middle of the freeway, man, they would back up so they wouldn't miss their exit, or some of them would just like drive through like a barrier or like shoulder just so they won't miss the exit. And I kid you not, they would just rather endanger themselves rather than not miss the exit, which is stupid. Just miss the exit, which sucks, but I mean, you gotta do it if you miss it. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just ranting because like it is frustrating, but I'm sure when the Americans go to the Philippines or other countries, I'm sure they'll be aghast at like the road conditions and the driving conditions in other countries as well, But yeah, I thought that I expected more from America, that their engineers would know how to make sensible roads, but apparently, anything goes in America. Anyway, thanks for listening, and this has been the Bisaya in America podcast. And please do check out and listen to my other podcasts as well. Thank you.